He made three plates, didn't eat, and hers was different. So why involve his sister?
I knew something was wrong the second the food touched my tongue, but I smiled anyway. Have you ever had that feeling? That quiet, creeping no in the back of your mind? The kind you almost ignore because nothing looks wrong? That was me, sitting at Ethan's dinner table. Smiling, chewing, pretending. It was supposed to be special. That's what he kept saying. My boyfriend cooked me dinner for the first time just for you. Before we continue, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell for updates. Ethan Rivera, 18. Charming in that effortless way people don't question. The kind of guy teachers trust, friends admire, and parents instantly approve of. And me? Maya Chen, 17. Careful, observant, not the type to jump to conclusions. We'd been together 8 months, long enough to know someone's habits, their tone shifts, the tiny things they don't realize they're doing. And lately, something had been off. Not obvious, not dramatic, just small things. He'd started asking more questions. Not normal ones, specific ones. Who were you texting? Why didn't you answer earlier? Are you happy? At first, it sounded like concern. Then it started sounding like something else. So when he texted me, I want to cook for you, just us, tonight. I hesitated. Not long enough to say no, but long enough to feel that same quiet no again. When I arrived, the house felt wrong. Too quiet. No TV, no background noise, no parents. Just the soft hum of the kitchen light and the faint clink of dishes. And her, Lena Rivera, 19, Ethan's older sister, sitting at the table, scrolling on her phone like I wasn't even there. She glanced up once, just once, a small, almost amused smile. Then back to her screen. No greeting, no warmth. That wasn't new. She'd never liked me. Hey, Ethan said, stepping out of the kitchen with a smile that felt rehearsed. Too perfect. Too ready. You're right on time. Something about the way he said it made it feel like timing mattered more than it should. The table was already set. 3 plates. 3 glasses. Everything symmetrical. Too neat. Too planned. Sit, he said, pulling out my chair. I sat. Lena didn't move. Didn't speak. Didn't even look at the food. And then Ethan brought the dishes out. Pasta. Creamy sauce, something herbal, something sharp underneath it. The smell hit me first. Not bad, just off, like something trying too hard to cover something else. Go ahead, he said, sitting down slowly. But he didn't pick up his fork. He just watched me. That's when I noticed it. He hadn't tasted it. Not even once. Lena still wasn't eating. Just scrolling, like she was waiting for something. Try it, Ethan said again. Softer this time. But there was pressure behind it. So I did. I picked up the fork, twisted the pasta, brought it to my mouth, and took a bite. And instantly, something was wrong. Not dramatic. Not something you could spit out immediately. Just wrong texture. A strange bitterness that didn't belong. A faint dryness that spread across my tongue. I paused. Just for a second. Barely noticeable. And then I smiled. It's really good. Ethan exhaled. Like he'd been holding his breath. But here's the thing. That moment, that tiny reaction, that relief, that's when I knew. This wasn't about cooking. Because he still wasn't eating. He was just watching me, carefully, too carefully. And Lena, she finally looked up. And for the first time, she smiled, a slow, knowing smile. So let me ask you something. If you felt that quiet certainty that something wasn't right, would you ignore it? Or would you test it? Because I made a decision right then. A small one. A simple one. The kind that doesn't seem like a big deal. I decided I wasn't going to be the one who found out the hard way. And when Ethan stood up, just for a moment, to grab drinks from the kitchen, I looked at Lena's untouched plate, then back at mine, and I moved. The second Ethan disappeared into the kitchen, everything in the room changed. Not louder, not chaotic, just thinner, like whatever had been holding the moment together had stepped out with him. I didn't rush. That's the part I still think about. I didn't panic. I didn't freeze. I just decided. Lena was still scrolling. Thumb moving, eyes half focused, completely uninterested, or pretending to be. Her plate sat untouched in front of her. Perfect. Identical. At least, that's what it looked like. My heart was beating faster now, but not wildly. Controlled. Sharp. Focused. I glanced toward the kitchen. Ethan's back was turned. I could hear the fridge door open. A few seconds. That's all I had. And in those few seconds, a thought hit me. What if I'm wrong? What if this is just bad cooking? What if I'm about to do something completely insane for no reason? Then another thought followed. Quieter, colder. What if I'm not? That was the one that mattered. So I reached forward. Slow. Careful. No sudden movements. And I switched the plates. The sound of ceramic sliding against wood felt louder than it should have. I froze for half a second. Lena didn't react. Didn't even blink. I leaned back in my chair just as Ethan walked back in. 2 glasses in his hands. Smile still in place. Here, he said, setting one down in front of me. Then one in front of Lena. His eyes went straight to my plate. Not the table. Not Lena. Not the room. My plate. And for the first time all night, something flickered across his face. Confusion. Brief. Sharp. Gone almost instantly. But I saw it. Everything okay, he asked. Too casual. Too quick. I smiled again. Same as before. Yeah, it's really good. And this time, I didn't touch the food. Lena sighed, finally putting her phone down. Are we actually eating, or... She muttered. Ethan hesitated. Just for a second. Then nodded. Yeah, go ahead. He picked up his fork, but again, he didn't eat. Lena did. She twirled the pasta lazily, barely looking at it, brought it to her mouth, took a bite, and nothing happened. No reaction. No pause. No expression. She chewed, swallowed, reached for her drink. Normal. Completely normal. For a split second, doubt crept in. Fast. Sharp. Uncomfortable. Did I just overreact? Ethan relaxed slightly in his chair. Not fully, but enough. See? He said lightly. It's fine. Fine. That word echoed in my head longer than it should have. Lena took another bite. Still nothing. She leaned back in her chair, glancing between us. You guys are being weird, she said flatly. Ethan forced a small laugh. No, we're not. But he still wasn't eating. And now he wasn't just watching me. He was watching both of us. Tracking. Waiting. I folded my hands in my lap under the table. Because if I didn't, he might notice they were starting to shake. Minutes passed. Slow. Heavy. Stretched thin with tension. Then Ethan spoke again. Do you feel okay? But this time, he wasn't looking at Lena. He was looking at me. That's when the certainty came back. Stronger. Colder. This was never about her. Another minute passed. Maybe 2. And then Lena shifted in her seat. Just slightly. She reached up and touched her throat. Is it just me, she said slowly, or is this kinda dry? Ethan froze. Not dramatically. Not obviously. But enough. Enough for me to see it. Lena grabbed her glass and took a long sip. Then another. Water's not helping, she muttered. She blinked a few times. Harder than normal. And then she frowned. Wait. Her hand slipped slightly against the table. The room went very, very quiet. She looked up, Eyes unfocused for just a second. Then she said it. Soft, confused, uncertain. I feel weird. And just like that, everything shifted. Lena took her first bite, and at first, nothing happened. That's what made it worse. Not immediate panic. Not instant chaos. Just enough normal to make you question everything. Because for a moment, I thought I was wrong. Lena leaned back in her chair, still holding her glass. Maybe I just didn't drink enough today, she muttered, rolling her shoulders like she was trying to shake something off. Casual, dismissive. Ethan laughed softly. Too softly. Yeah, you're always dehydrated, he said. But here's the thing. His voice didn't match his face. He was smiling, but his eyes locked, sharp, watching. Not Lena. Me. Like he was waiting for my reaction. And that's when everything clicked into place in a way that made my stomach drop. This wasn't random. I didn't say anything. Didn't move. Didn't give him anything to work with. Because suddenly, I wasn't part of dinner anymore. I was observing it. Lena picked up her fork again. Slow this time. Less confident. You guys are seriously acting weird, she said, glancing between us. Just eat, Ethan replied quickly. Too quickly. That word again. Not enjoy, not try. Eat. Lena raised an eyebrow. Okay? She took another bite. Smaller this time. And then she stopped chewing halfway through. Her expression shifted. Not dramatic. Just off. She swallowed slowly. Too slowly. Okay, wait, she said, sitting up straighter. Ethan tensed. I saw it in his shoulders. What? He asked. Lena blinked. Once. Twice. Why does my tongue feel like that? Silence. Ethan didn't answer. I didn't either. Because now there was no doubt. Lena rubbed her mouth with the back of her hand. Like, tingly? Is that normal? She let out a small, awkward laugh, trying to make it nothing. But no one joined her. Ethan finally picked up his fork. For the first time, but he didn't eat. He just held it, gripping it a little too tight. You're fine, he said. Flat. Controlled. But Lena was already shaking her head. No, I'm not. She stopped mid-sentence. Her hand slipped slightly off the table. Not enough to fall, just enough to lose control for a second. And that's when her eyes met mine. Really met mine. And for the first time, there was no attitude. No distance. No quiet judgment. Just confusion. Maya? It wasn't accusatory. It wasn't hostile. It was uncertain. Like she didn't understand what was happening to her own body. And in that moment, something shifted again. Because whatever Lena thought of me before didn't matter anymore. She wasn't in control. And Ethan? He knew exactly why. Ethan, I said quietly. He didn't look at me. Ethan, I repeated. This time, sharper. He turned. Slowly. And there it was. That crack in the mask. Not panic. Not yet. But something close. Something calculating. What did you put in the food? The question hung in the air. Heavy. Unavoidable. Lena looked between us, processing slower now. What? She mumbled. Ethan let out a breath. Short. Controlled. You're overreacting, he said. But he didn't deny it. And that was all I needed. Lena tried to push herself up from the table. Her chair scraped loudly against the floor. Then stopped. Halfway. Because she couldn't stand. Her knees buckled. And she grabbed the edge of the table just to stay upright. Okay, no, something's wrong, she said, her voice losing that sharp edge it always had. Now it sounded unsteady. Real. Ethan stood up so fast his chair tipped backward. But here's the part you need to pay attention to. He didn't look surprised. He looked like something had gone wrong. Not unexpected. Not shocking. Just wrong. And that's when I realized whatever he planned It wasn't supposed to happen like this. That's when Ethan stood up too fast, too panicked, not surprised. There's a difference. A big one. Surprise is messy, uncontrolled. This was recognition. His chair hit the floor behind him, loud enough to echo through the house. But he didn't even look at it. All his attention snapped to Lena. Hey, sit down, he said quickly, reaching for her arm. Too quickly. Too urgently. Lena pulled back slightly. Not fully resisting. Just confused. I am sitting... What are you? She started, but her words slurred at the edges. Her grip on the table tightened. Knuckles pale. I don't feel right, she said again. Softer now. Less attitude. More fear. And Ethan? He swallowed. Hard? I told you to take it slow, he muttered. The words slipped out before he could stop them. Silence. My head tilted slightly. You told her what? I asked. Ethan froze. Not completely, just enough. Enough to confirm it. This wasn't just him. Lena looked at him now. Really looked. Ethan? She said, her voice unsteady. He shook his head quickly. No, I just meant like eating too fast. Stop, I cut in. Both of them looked at me. And for the first time that night, I wasn't careful with my tone. You said you told her to take it slow, I said. Why would that matter? Ethan didn't answer. Because he couldn't. Lena's breathing changed. Shallow. Uneven. What did you do? She asked him. Not me. Him. That said everything. Ethan ran a hand through his hair, pacing once, twice, like he was trying to think faster than the situation was unfolding. It's not okay. It's not what you think, he said. That sentence? Always that sentence. Then what is it? I asked. He looked at me, and this time, there was no softness left. Just frustration. It was supposed to be controlled, he snapped. Controlled. The word landed heavy. Lena let out a weak, disoriented laugh. Controlled? She repeated. Her hand slipped again. This time, she couldn't correct it. She dropped back into her chair. Hard? I feel she started, then stopped. Like her brain couldn't catch up to her body. Ethan rushed toward her again. Crouched beside her. Just breathe, okay? You're fine. It's fine, he said quickly. But his voice was starting to crack. Because it wasn't fine. And he knew it. I stayed where I was. Watching. Listening. Putting it together piece by piece. You didn't even eat it, I said. Ethan didn't respond. You made 3 plates, I continued, but you never touched yours. Still nothing. Lena's head tilted slightly to the side. Her focus drifting. You said it was mild, she mumbled. Everything stopped. Ethan's eyes snapped to her. Lena, don't, he started. Too late. She blinked slowly. You said it wouldn't do anything bad. The room went cold. I felt it in my chest. That drop. That confirmation. This wasn't a mistake. This was planned. Just not like this. Ethan stood up again, more frantic now. Grabbing his phone. Unlocking it. Locking it again. Like he couldn't decide what to do next. Call someone, I said. He didn't move. Ethan, I said, sharper now. Call someone. I am, he snapped. But he wasn't. Because calling someone meant explaining. And explaining meant consequences. Lena slid slightly in her chair. Barely holding herself upright now. Her voice came out quieter this time. Almost detached. I can't feel my hands properly. That was it. The moment where everything crossed from suspicion into something real. Something serious. I reached into my pocket, pulled out my phone. And Ethan noticed. What are you doing? He asked quickly. I didn't look at him. I already did it, I said. He froze. What? I finally looked up, met his eyes. Calm. Steady. Certain. I texted someone before dinner, I said. If I said it's really good, they were supposed to call for help. Silence. Not the quiet kind. the heavy kind, the kind that means everything just changed. And right on cue, in the distance, faint at first. Sirens, getting closer. I didn't trust him the moment he said, "This is just for you." The sirens were still distant, but they were real. And Ethan knew it. Everything about him changed in that moment. The pacing stopped. The frantic energy shifted into something tighter, more desperate. "You called someone?" he said, his voice low now, controlled again, but barely. "I didn't call," I replied. "I planned." That hit harder. I could see it. Because this was supposed to be his controlled situation. And now it wasn't. Behind him, Lena shifted weakly in her chair. Her head lolled slightly before she forced it upright again. "Ethan," she murmured, her voice thin, "what did you give me?" He closed his eyes for half a second, like he was trying to reset everything. Undo it. "It's not dangerous," he said. "Not, I didn't give you anything. Not, you're okay. Just that." I leaned forward slightly. "Elaborate." He looked at me again. And now, there was something colder in his expression. "You weren't supposed to switch the plates," he said. There it was. Clear. Direct. No more pretending. Lena let out a weak, confused laugh that quickly dissolved into a cough. "Switch. What?" she muttered. I didn't take my eyes off Ethan. "You made mine different," I said. He didn't answer. Because he didn't need to. I gestured toward the plates. "They're not identical. The sauce mine had more. You thought I wouldn't notice." "I didn't think you'd be looking for something," he snapped. That honesty slipped out too fast. Too raw. And suddenly, the entire night rearranged itself in my head. The way he watched me. The way he waited. The way he didn't eat. It all pointed to one thing. "You wanted me to eat it," I said. Not a question. Ethan ran both hands through his hair, pacing again, but tighter now, like the room had shrunk around him. "It wasn't supposed to hurt you," he said. There it was again. That word. Supposed. "Then what was it supposed to do?" I asked. He stopped. Looked at me. And for the first time, he answered honestly. "It was just supposed to make you calmer," he said. I stared at him. "Calmer?" I repeated. "So we could talk," he added quickly, "without you getting defensive or shutting down or—" "I don't do that," I cut in. "You do," he shot back immediately. "Every time things get serious, you pull away." Lena let out a soft groan behind him. Neither of us moved. Because this wasn't about her anymore. Not to him. This was about control. "So your solution," I said slowly, "was to drug me?" "It's not like that," he insisted. But it was exactly like that. "You said it was mild," Lena whispered weakly from the chair. We both turned. Her eyes were half-focused now. Struggling. "You told me it was just something to take the edge off," she said. Ethan's jaw tightened. "I didn't know," she continued, her words dragging. "I didn't know it'd feel like this." That was the missing piece. Lena knew. Not everything. But enough. "You involved her?" I said, disbelief cutting through my voice now. "I needed help," Ethan said quickly. "I couldn't just—" "Couldn't just what?" I snapped. "Respect me?" Silence. Heavy. Final. The sirens were louder now. Close. Too close to ignore. Ethan looked toward the window. Then back at me. And for a split second, I saw it. Not regret. Not fear. Calculation. Like he was trying to figure out if there was still a way out of this. But there wasn't. Because a moment later, red and blue lights flashed across the walls. A knock at the door. Sharp. Immediate. "Emergency services." Everything stopped. One of the responders stepped inside moments later, scanning the room quickly. Eyes landing on Lena. Then the table. Then us. "What happened here?" he asked. No one spoke. So he asked the question that mattered. "Who prepared the food?" And without hesitation, without looking away, I answered. He did. "Who prepared the food?" He did. Everything after that moved fast. Not chaotic. Not out of control. Just precise. Like the situation had finally been handed over to people who knew exactly what to do with it. 2 responders moved straight to Lena, checking her pulse, asking her questions, keeping her awake. Can you tell me your name? Lena. Good. Stay with me, okay? She nodded weakly, her earlier attitude gone, replaced with something fragile, uncertain. Another responder turned to Ethan. Sir, I need you to step back. Ethan didn't argue, didn't resist. He just stepped away, like he already knew there was no point. And me? I stayed exactly where I was, sitting at the table, looking at the plate that was never meant for anyone else. The room smelled different now, less like food, more like something exposed. Did anyone else consume this? One of the responders asked, gesturing toward the plates. No, I said. That was the truth. I hadn't swallowed more than that first bite, and even that felt like it was still sitting in my mouth. They worked quickly. Within minutes, Lena was being helped onto a stretcher. Still conscious. Still responsive. As they moved her, her eyes found mine again. No hostility. No sarcasm. Just one quiet, strained question. Did you switch them? I held her gaze, then nodded. A pause. Good, she whispered, and then she was gone. The front door shut behind them. The sirens faded again, this time taking her with them. And just like that, it was quiet, but not the same kind of quiet as before. This one had weight. A police officer stepped inside shortly after. Calm, focused, already piecing things together just by looking. All right, he said, glancing between us. I'm going to need both of you to explain exactly what happened tonight. And for the first time, Ethan spoke without trying to control the narrative, because he couldn't anymore. The explanation came in fragments at first, then clearer, then undeniable, logical payoff. What actually happened? Ethan had planned the dinner days in advance, not as a surprise, not as a gesture. As a setup, he thought I was pulling away, thought I was going to break up with him, and instead of asking directly, instead of having a normal conversation, he decided to control it. He got something. Not from a doctor. Not prescribed. Something he'd been told would relax someone, make them more open, more compliant. Lena's role? Minimal, but real. He told her it was harmless. Told her he just needed help keeping things smooth. She didn't ask enough questions. Didn't think it through. Didn't imagine it would go this far. And the biggest mistake? The dosage? What he thought was mild wasn't. Not dangerous enough to be fatal, but absolutely enough to impair, to disorient, to cause exactly what happened. And it was meant for me, not her. That part, there was no confusion about it anymore. I expected to feel something bigger. Anger, fear, maybe even relief. But what I felt instead was clarity, like every small moment from the past few weeks had just clicked into place. The questions, the pressure, the way he watched me. It wasn't care. It wasn't insecurity. It was control. You were just gonna sit there and watch? I asked him later. My voice wasn't raised. Didn't need to be. Ethan didn't answer right away. I just needed you to listen, he said finally. I nodded slowly. I was listening, I replied. That landed harder than anything else I could have said. Because it was true. And just like that, whatever we had was over. Not dramatically. Not explosively. Just completely. What happened next didn't disappear. It didn't get brushed off. It stayed, and it followed him. Lena was kept overnight for observation. She recovered. Physically. But her relationship with Ethan didn't. From what I heard later, she stopped speaking to him almost entirely. Their parents came back early. That house didn't feel like a home for a while after that. Ethan faced real consequences. School got involved. Suspension at minimum. Possibly more. And legally, that depended on how things were classified. But tampering with someone's food isn't something that just disappears. People found out. Of course they did. Stories like that spread fast, and the version that spreads is never the one you'd choose. As for me, I didn't go back. Not to that house, not to that relationship, and not to ignoring my instincts. A week later, I was sitting in a cafe, across from the friend who made the call. You really texted that ahead of time? She asked. I nodded. Why? She said. I thought about it for a second, then shrugged slightly. Because something felt off, I said. Simple, but enough. There was food in front of me. Something normal, safe. I looked at it for a second longer than usual, then picked up my fork, took a bite, and this time, no bitterness, no hesitation, just food. I swallowed, exhaled, and for the first time since that night, everything felt exactly how it was supposed to.
So, was it control, panic, or something worse? And what would you have done?